Why is ZERI getting nerfed? So we recently buffed the crit items, and that was very, very good for ZERI. And so now she's being played in Pro, and she is the top 80 carry of the current patch. And so we're nerfing her because there's a risk that she will be completely dominant in MSI. The goal is not to nerf her massively, for what it's worth. The goal is to, tap her down a bit. But if you look at the bot lane meta right now, ZERI is at the top. So we're nerfing her to make sure she's not completely dominant in MSI. The thought is that will get more and more popular as time goes on. Also, and you might be saying, well, why not nerf Varis and Kalista? Well, number one is their presence has been going down over the last few patches, whereas ZERI's has been going up. And additionally, you'll notice Varis and Kalista are mostly banned, whereas ZERI is mostly picked. And so there's this risk of basically everybody bans Varis and Kalista, and then they just handshake pick ZERI every single game. And that tends to be a more stale meta than a game where people are picking different champions. And so, yeah. Basically, the thing we're looking at is, hey, if we're going to adjust the AD carry meta, we probably should buff a couple lane bullies. So we're looking at characters like Draven or Jhin or stuff like that, and probably need to take down the top end of the crit marksman, which is specifically ZERI. You might be asking, well, what about Jinx? Why not nerf Jinx then if you're nerfing ZERI? Because admittedly, Jinx is very, very powerful in solo queue. The big thing is, despite the fact that she's powerful in solo queue, she hasn't really taken over pro, and MSI is a pro patch. And so Jinx's pick rate is actually pretty reasonable for pro, and so it would be actually kind of risky to nerf her, because if we kick Jinx out of pro, that's just one champion who's gone who's actually creating variety. So there you go. So yeah, basically TLDR pro play. Pros are picking a lot of ZERI, so she needs some adjustments. But the goal isn't to do anything massive. I know a lot of ZERI players have trauma from days of yore, where we'd do these massive nerfs to her or remove mechanics because of just how present she was. That's not what we're doing right now. We're not looking at ZERI and being she is a pro play menace and needs to be destroyed. We're very much looking at her at hey, sometimes a champion's dominant in pro. That's ZERI right now. Let's give her a little tap down to make the meta a bit more varied. So I don't think you need, as a ZERI main, to worry as much about her getting gigabopped as has happened in the past.